It's been 5 years and 1 year. This week, within the month of October, is a bit of a doozy for me. Let me explain. 5 years ago this week, I was in the middle of creating a series called the Pre-40 Bucket List. And in that series, I unintentionally realized that there was a lot of historical romance here in the suburbs of Montreal. I thought the only historical history stories in Pointe Claire were, what lied within the walls of the windmill, or the old church, or those original old stone houses on St. Charles, St. John's, and Sources. Well, I was wrong. And nearly 2 years later, here I am continuing to share ideas and stories and interviews and anecdotes about the West Island's past that I have personally vetted as endangered stories. So I thank you for allowing me to have this honor. But back to the importance of this week, the week that falls in the middle of October. While shooting what ended up being my last Pre-40 Bucket List video, which was about a collectibles store I used to go to as a young teen, I was challenged with a little historical nugget. Here's the clip. Mom, so 7 cards in, collection is done, and now I've got a worthless complete set of Upper Deck 1991 hockey. Bam! Hold on a second. Wayne said something that made me think.
This mall, actually, is the second oldest mall in Canada, the mall we're in right now.
Wait a minute. Say that again?
It's the second oldest mall in Canada. Second oldest mall in Canada.
Second oldest mall in Canada? No.
What is going on here? This is the way I work. I gotta find out as much as possible about this place. Wikipedia says it's been here since 1958, a couple of the stores, but that's it. There's no other information about this mall. So, where does someone go to find out information about a mall?
You could go to the library.
What library? Like the Pointe Claire Library?
Yeah.
It's still there? So I went to the library, haven't been in about 20 years, and who knew that they had books? So there's one thing that I remember that libraries do have, and that's microfilm. And microfilm is essentially pictures of old newspapers in these long rolls of film that you put into a scanner and you could watch it. I used to play with this stuff all the time in university. The university was a while ago. I didn't even know what to look for. All I knew was that it opened up in 1958. That was the only bit of information that Wikipedia had on its page. So I just pulled out 1958 to see what I can find. I don't know what, but I was gonna find something. And I found it. And what developed from there was a whole series called Endangered Stories. So it's thanks to Wayne Arnott that I had been unintentionally shown the opening to that rabbit hole that I have been delightfully burrowing myself into since that mid-October shoot in 2018. So that's why I consider around this time of year to be my endangered anniversary. However, that event is now coupled with another event that happened just last year at this exact moment in time. This week we lost a giant in our community. Not only in our community, but someone who's been present in my life for the last 30 years or so. He's someone who I think has affected at least 3 generations of kids and adults as they grew into adults. And that's Wayne from Blue Nose. I don't know much about his personal life. We never really spoke about that. But what I do know is he was an incredibly passionate man in general, but especially for what he chose to do as a living. Commendable and inspiring, maybe not in what he did, but how he worked it and how much he loved it. So many of my peers who came decades before me and those who followed me have still a very present memory probably of Wayne Blue Nose and his father Ross, who tragically passed away not even a year after Wayne. I mean, and Blue Nose is still open. So is the story of Blue Nose now an endangered story, even if it's still open? Well, I would argue that the experience of Blue Nose you had with Ross or Wayne is definitely headed in that direction. So this is why I've dug out some of that footage I shot with Wayne in 2018 and the footage I shot with Ross, his father, for another series of videos to tell a brief story about their store, Blue Nose, that has been in the Plaza or Point Claire Shopping Center since the 70s, roughly, and about its existence before it moved to the shops. Hopefully you can slice out 7 minutes out of your day tomorrow to check it out Saturday morning. And just one more thing before I go to bed. Following Saturday's Endangered Story on Sunday night, I will be releasing my full interview with Wayne, and it's chock full of Wayne. You know what I mean? Maybe if you knew him, then I think you know exactly what I mean. Okay, that's it. Have a good day, everyone. Over and out.